Welcome back to Dialog Trees, everyone, where we're gonna die in the next month.
It's gonna happen.
I don't know if it's like a collective, like we as a society, or just us three, but keep watching and find out.
Mr. Brayden O'Boyle has predicted the end. Call me Nostradamus of the modern era.
I'm sorry, but TikTok is the Nostradamus of the modern era.
That's where I get all my prophecies.
Fair.
I just go on TikTok and I try to figure out what happens 15 minutes before it does. Aaron, you had a thing that you wanted to say.
E3. What a wonderful thing, right?
This is the fun one, and this is why this is coming out at the end of the week, because we all need to just take a break from the stressful Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is.
We all need to just sit and shit on something. And it's not gonna be Ubisoft. It's not gonna be Nintendo. It's not gonna be CDPR and Cyberpunk. No, it's gonna be E3.
And all of them by
actually by extension, it's gonna be all of them. But that's okay. Before I start, I obviously understand that COVID affected a lot of stuff this year. I know that. We know that. But my opinion on E3 has been the same for like the past few years now anyways. And this just kind of helped reinforce it. I think E3 should die. I think E3 should just not be a thing anymore.
Take it out behind the woodshed and just
doesn't know it.
E3 is a corpse. This is a shambling walker that still is dragging itself onwards.
Where do I even begin? There's just so much wrong. Well, we'll start with this year. Like I said, COVID obviously affected a lot of shit, which is why, we got a TED Talk for a conference. We had half of a 40-minute panel be on Marvel games that no one cares about. If you tell me you care about them, you're a fucking liar. Get the fuck out of here. That's...
Holy shit.
What?
I'm sorry. So I'm on, of all places, The Guardian.
Oh god.
And I googled E3 2021 fails. The first hit was The Guardian. I don't know if all of these are fails, but I think a lot of them are. Apparently there was a Ubisoft trailer for a fucking Avatar game.
Yeah, I was just watching that before we started recording.
Like
James Cameron Avatar, not Avatar The Last Airbender.
Holy shit, topical in a decade.
Well, that's because we get new Avatar movies in the next 3 years.
That's what they said for the past 10 years.
Yeah, but this one's... The Avatar 2 actually coming out, like, December.
They mean it this time.
Yeah, they mean it this time.
I honestly cannot believe that... It seriously just feels like a franchise being pushed forward by the sheer desire to have a franchise at this point. Like, it's never struck me as being so transparently like, if you throw a ton of money at stuff, people will love it. Don't you want to go to Pandora Land of Disneyland? Don't you want to go to Pandora in the virtual 3D experience? Don't you love Pandora? Like, no. No, we don't.
Pandora's, like, cool and all, but it's not, like, amazing.
Yeah. People are still talking about the Harry Potter houses. Nobody gives a shit about the animals from Pandora.
What other E3 fails are there, Bruce?
I don't know if it's a fail. I'm gonna call it a fail because The Guardian had there's a couple like big headlines and then they'd give a couple paragraphs about it in the article. One of them was George R.R. Martin and FromSoft finally reveal info on Elden Ring, but like they want the casual reader to be like, oh, George R.R. Martin, that's that Game of Thrones guy. I loved that show. Whereas everybody in the know was like, Winds of Winter is never releasing. Brayden is a broken man.
It's okay, Brayden. A ghostwriter will finish it one day.
I will be that ghostwriter.
A ghostwriter finished the series, the TV
series. I know.
It'd be hard to be worse than the series at this point. Let's be real.
That's fair.
Ugh.
What's the big stuff that came out? Like, big that like gamers would care about? What really came out of E3 this year?
WarioWare.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, but I think that's a little niche, but I still agree that's very fucking cool.
A new.
Wait. Is it a new one or a re-release?
That's a new one.
Okay, that's very fucking cool then.
Yeah. A Metroid game that was thought to be in development hell.
What game?
Metroid Dread.
A game that was thought
A
to be
new
in
Metroid
development hell.
that is not Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
So we're gonna give that a half.
Not what people wanted you to think.
Instead of Metroid Prime 4, they announced Metroid 5.
Yeah, it's not the game people wanted, but it's the game Nintendo.
It's the game you're getting.
Okay, what else?
Outer Wilds 2?
I don't know if that
Or
really...
Outer Worlds 2, sorry.
Yeah,
Outer Worlds 2. I don't know if it blew people's minds.
No.
Oh my god, why can't I remember anymore? Ooh,
Yeah.
Advanced Wars 1 and 2 on Switch.
Why do they have to make this game political? They have black people in the background. Political.
Slash S. This is sarcasm.
Slash S. This is definitely sarcasm. Holy shit.
People
Like,
actually
I'm
bitching
gonna
about that?
throw one out there
Yeah,
As a
of course.
As a dirty fucking casual. I haven't watched the trailer yet. I might not. But Breath of the Wild 2.
It's still a year out though. That's the thing.
Yes, but
Yeah.
Zelda games get teased like 5 years out, dude.
Yeah.
All the
Shin
games
Megami
coming,
Tensei
all the games
5
coming to Game Pass, and yes, SMT
Yeah.
5.
For Weebs. Weebs are gonna like that.
Put a finger up for Game Pass.
What about Game Pass?
We get the new D&D Dark Alliance game, day one. Game Pass. A bunch of other stuff that I forgot,
in
but
Game Pass, could we just include everything that Microsoft is doing with going like console-less?
Yeah.
yeah, that wasn't really an E3 thing though.
Starfield got a trailer.
No,
Nope, Starfield is a negative for me.
Starfield was a negative. No, or I'm not talking about positive things. I'm just talking about important shit that happened at this E3.
Oh,
for a sec. Can we define E3? Are we include because E3 in the last couple of years like has seen the major players make their own side events at the same time, also in Anaheim. So can we just include all the conferences going on right now around it as E3?
If it's happening at the same time as E3, it's E3.
yeah.
Okay. And then Microsoft announcing its new like console-less future, where they're essentially going to just be a game streaming platform.
That was a week before though.
Huh?
That was a week before.
I'm gonna allow it.
I'm gonna allow it.
My finger's always up.
Chaos.
I'm just chill. Chaos.
They call him Garland. Chaos.
Final Fantasy is going grimdark as fuck, and it looks awful.
Apparently the demo is actually really good.
Oh, Xbox, Halo Infinite going free to play multiplayer.
That is
Right.
that is
Yeah, that's
That's, I think, a game changer in terms of the way that franchise is treating itself and the way that we're going to be thinking about franchises like Halo. Because if that's willing to go free to play, it's willing to change the whole experience of a first-person shooter with a huge multiplayer component that outstrips the game. At this point, it's now just release the multiplayer component to everyone.
Is it going to change everything, or is it playing catch up? Because you can play COD Warzone for free, you can play Apex Legends for free, you can play Valorant for free.
Yes, I would say in terms of maybe what I'm saying is that this is the death of the first-person shooter with a tacked-on campaign and multiplayer mode bundled together for $80. I think this might be the start of just like admitting like, okay, the multiplayer mode is, its separate product, therefore will be priced separately or not at all.
Can we say it's poignant that Halo, which was the birth of shooters on console, is now signaling the death of multiplayer as like the tack on, like you said. Can we say like things began with Halo and now are seeing to be like Halo's the last nail in the coffin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with everything except the idea that Halo was the first to make console shooting. I think it was like first multiplayer console shooter with online capabilities. Because
Halo 1,
motherfucker,
Halo 1
you are not ignoring GoldenEye.
True. But Halo changed the game because like it was dual stick, right?
Yeah, and Xbox Live.
The Xbox Live didn't launch with Halo; it launched with Halo 2.
Didn't they have multiplayer in Halo?
They had
1?
multiplayer, but it was couch co-op only.
Halo 2 then.
Halo 1 though was like the beginning of like competitive shooters on console.
There we go. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to our list.
Death.
Battlefield 6. I don't care. You're
What's
putting up a
special
finger for
about
that. It's
What's
amazing.
special aside from it being 6?
It's amazing.
Why? I'm genuinely asking.
It's now 128 players instead of 64. They have
shit.
Yeah, they have like active like
a battle royale.
Shut up. They have like active weather events that will like go through the map, like a tornado happening, rocket launching, shit like that. And
That's
they
cool.
added in classes, so like siege classes are now in Battlefield.
So like the hero shooter mechanic kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much like each hero will have their own like abilities. Like the guy they showed off has like one of those flying wingsuits that he can just fly around the map instead of like falling down with a parachute like a pleb.
Like Rainbow Six Siege isn't a hero shooter, but it is because all the operators have a different shtick. Is it similar to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If your emotes are restricted by what operator you're playing, it's a hero shooter.
That's fair.
If like the skins are specific to the class or character you're playing, it's a hero shooter.
Hashtag Viper Dat Thick though.
Shut up.
Yeah.
And
is that a Valorant thing?
Yes.
Yeah, Viper Thick.
Last thing I'll say for the list is Sea of Thieves with Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that's actually pretty major. Yeah.
I know, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's why I messaged in the Discord, like, Disney is willing to work with people now to bring their franchises.
Okay, that's what this was all about.
Yeah.
Actually, that's also a pretty major thing.
That's why I think it's a major thing.
Is Disney allowing their properties to be used? And do we think that is honestly, that's something we should have said during the positives of E3 even.
I forgot about it.
No,
even though I watched the trailer like right before it.
Guys, we're getting sidetracked by like the idea of like the announcements of this E3. We're talking about shit. That's E3 true. Is in like as a institution. You guys are getting sucked up by the hype. I'm watching it happen in real time.
But that's the positive of E3 is all the
resist the hype, brothers.
We're also trying to like mention like all the major things that happened this E3, and we have 6 points.
And we're struggling to get.
Yeah, we're struggling.
I feel like that meme of the dude like popping up in front of the anime girl and saying, "No, brother, stay focused. Do not let yourself be tempted.
Tits are temporary. The glory of Rome is forever."
Like, it's so transparent, and it doesn't offer anything unlike GDC, unlike PAX, where there's a feeling of like a community. There's no E3 community.
But PAX is bigger than gaming, which is why there's a community. Because PAX is like started with Penny Arcade. That's what the PA stands for.
Yeah.
And so now, of course, it's grown, and a lot of people don't even think of Penny Arcade when they say PAX. But there's still a community, and like there's the major community, and then there's niche communities who come in too. For example, like there's pretty commonly like fighting game tournaments and a Smash Bros tournament at PAX. Smash at PAX. It's a major. It's not like a super major or anything, but like it's a big tournament where like top contenders show up. Those are That's a minus for E3. It is so big tent it means nothing.
Well, see, like
they want it for everybody.
PAX used to be like, you know, the community, and E3 was like the business side and reporter side. And then they opened up E3 to regular people like us, and now reporters can't do their job every year because they couldn't get to half these things. The lineups were like 3 hours long, so half these games got forgotten about, which is like one of my biggest issues with E3 in the past couple of years. Obviously, that wasn't really a thing this year because of COVID, but yeah, like opening it up to the public like really ruined E3.
In my opinion, E3 this year, and I said it earlier today, this week, you know, time is a flat circle.
You guys don't know when he said it.
Putting
you was playing at home. Yeah.
It didn't change our experience. We've always had the same E3 experience. We watch a presser, we go there. The only difference was now when we go to our specific casters we like, we're seeing them be React Andes to a video instead of them be React Andes in person. Like, you know, you don't have people going with media badges and following all these stupid rules that nobody
follows
understands anyway. You can have a camera, but it can't have a removable lens. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to take your bag. But I'm press. I don't care. But they have it. Like, E3 is a clusterfuck and it needs to die. But it's not it's never been a clusterfuck for us. We've only heard about it tangentially.
Yes. But also, like, with this year, like we just went through like 6 major things, and how many different press conferences were there across 3 days? We got nothing. I understand COVID was the reason for that, but these companies spend millions of dollars and months working on this stuff, making trailers, taking their devs to make trailers, when they could have just said, hey, we got nothing this year. Like, we're just going to keep working on our games. You'll see us when you see us. Which is
I know that some of you were excited when you saw me and thought you'd be getting some news about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. We don't have anything to show you right now. We apologize, because that went over well.
No, but I'd rather that than, you know, Bethesda's like, hey, here's Starfield 2023. Get hyped. 3 years hype. Yeah. This is Avatar 2.
This is 2077.
Like, that's my other problem with E3. Like, you show off these games that are years off in development. We get a generic trailer that you see across every company. You know, pan across the landscape. Someone walking. Stare at the horizon. Oh.
And now.
Name code. Yeah, title comes up. And then the year, 2025. And you're like, well, how am I going to get hyped about this? Like, what's the fucking point? At least, like, what Sony's doing and Nintendo, like, they just have their events when they're ready. They do their own shit. And they're like, hey, here's games coming out. Love it.
One, I got 2 points on that. One, the most hype thing you can do is either, like, if it's a downloadable thing, available now.
Yep.
Or available tomorrow if it's a physical thing. Like, if you're going to announce a console at E3, back in, like, I forget what console it was. It was one of the Sega consoles. But it was announced at E3 and it was available now. And everybody who was in that auditorium got one. That's the most hype thing. Or when you're announcing a game, or like when you're like, if Elden Ring were to have been, hey, it's the Elden Ring trailer, available now. Boom, you can just download it. Can't happen anymore because of supply chains. But, and my other thing is, I know we've both touched on it now, but there's all the major companies do their own thing whenever they want, just around the time of E3. We even said Microsoft announced stuff a week in advance. Nobody gives a fuck. Nintendo for the past couple of years has just been doing a Nintendo Direct at
E3.
Yeah, and it's like, so now this year everybody just did the Nintendo thing because they had to. And basically just hosted a Nintendo Direct, and they just called it E3. Yeah. Even though there was tons of shit happening that wasn't technically E3, But just like we said, if it happens around E3, it's E3, right? No, like it's not actually E3. E3 is dead and is just like loosely being held together.
Yeah.
Now let's see who you really are. It's just a fucking rotted carcass.
But for your first point about like, you know, the available now, I'd say that's like one of the best things about Nintendo, other than Zelda. You know, typically where they're like, hey, here's WarioWare 3 months from now. Advance Wars this year. Zelda next year, but don't worry about that. Typically, like, yeah, I know.
All right,
But typically, like, no. Okay.
Fallout 4 being unveiled at a E3, slated for release later that year, and it turned out to be a shit show.
Yeah, but that's Bethesda. They don't count.
I feel like Nintendo gets a pass for things that other companies get flamed for all the time.
No. I would saying Fallout 4 announced and released later this year. That's a fucking amazing moment.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop. Like that's a contender for winning E3 moment.
Yeah, like I was like, holy fuck when that happened.
The game is shit. You don't forgive them for that, but the moment of saying, like, that's a ballsy move to say like, hey, we're announcing this and it's coming within months. That's amazing. Now being able to follow up on that is a different thing.
I think that's up to the company.
Yeah.
Because they could have waited one more year, had the game super polished, and be like, available next month. That would have been fucking hype. And you wouldn't have been any more disappointed because you didn't know about it.
Yeah. Announcing something within a short time frame, that's a winning move. Because, like we said, you know, something's coming 2023, and what's the point? You're just building hype to do pre-sales. But being able to be like, yo, this comes out soon, and we're just announcing it, that's a winning move because you get the hype.
And you get it soon.
You can follow through with it. But if you drop the ball at the end, like, that's on you. If people wouldn't have been mad at 2077 as much if it had come out a year later and been shitty. Not 10 years, like almost 10 years. What was it, 8 years later and been shitty?
Yeah. But see, that's why I think E3 should die. Like, what's the point of forcing these companies to be like, hey, this game's coming out, and I don't fucking know. You know, sometime.
Yeah.
Just roll a D20. And roll a second D20. They'll give you the year.
But Aaron, it's 2021.
Oh no. But that's the thing, like, I'd rather these companies just, you know, do their own internal thing. Set up a fucking green screen to have some, I don't know, some business dude stand in front of it and be like, hey, here's trailers. Instead of spending millions of dollars wasting...
Hosting an event.
Yeah, hosting an event that just does nothing.
Yeah. And I feel like it would be better if we look to something like ComicCon, for an example, which is not just a chance to show off upcoming projects, to show off trailers, to build hype, but is also a place to host and recognize contributions within the industry. You know, get the cast of Last of Us together for a panel, get the developers behind Supergiant Games to, you know, talk about their stuff, like host experiences as well as marketing. I think that would be a way to redeem the conference.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting we have multiple times per year when we announce things that are coming out soon instead of shoehorning everything into one event that needs to be the hypest thing ever? Is that what you're suggesting? That we spread out the hype instead of condensing it?
Yes, I do. And get bent.
What a novel idea.
Now, do you think E3 itself should spread itself out, have multiple conferences across the year?
No, we have enough conferences.
But Bruce, E3 every 4 months because it's E3. Boom, I fixed them.
I hate that I love this. I hate that I love it.
Yep.
I will say the one bad thing, like, if E3 were to die, is like, because there are still like smaller indie devs that go to E3 that get noticed and found out. If we kill that, like, they can't host their own conference. That's up to them finding publishers to like get with, or completely rely on PAX or other gaming events, which is kind of shitty. But I mean, the indie devs are also forgotten about at E3 anyways, so, you know.
I think if indie devs were just to go to PAX and Comic-Con, like New York Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, the other, you know, there's multiple PAXs now. Like there's PAX West, PAX East?
Yeah,
like,
there's
I think
PAX
there's
East.
3 PAXs. I think there's enough there, but your idea of having, you know, 3 E3s, yeah, like it's taking brand recognition and spreading it out versus spreading things out without brand recognition. There you go. We solved E3. Aaron's a fucking genius. Aaron solved E3.
Well, at least then, like, they could be like, hey, do you have stuff ready? No, we're not good for June, but, you know, we'll be good for, you know, September. Okay, cool.
Or
Well done.
even then, it's like, hey, we don't have to rush to have things done for the summer because we know something's coming in the winter, kind of thing.
Yep.
4 months later, so we don't have to sign up for this one. We can give ourselves that extra 4 months to sign up later.
Well, see, and then it's, you know, less crowded because there's less developers there, so they could have more booths just for one dev, and then they could host panels like you said, where, you know, they get the voice actors from The Last of Us Part 2 and talk about the game.
Smaller thing, and they don't just have to be in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for joining us for another episode of Dialog Trees. I'm looking at the time, and I think we got to wrap it up here, folks. But
Yes.
Get down below in the comments to comment, Aaron solved E3, so Lexi used that rocket.
yeah. If you don't put those in your comments, we'll know you're not a real fan.
She
Yeah.
hates that
Yeah.
you keep mentioning this and don't, like, shout her out. You don't, like, legitimately shout her out. You know what,
Yeah.
Lexi? We'll shout you out when you use the rocket launcher.
Yep.
Boom.
Once you
Boom.
do.
Boom. So,
Yeah, thank you
down
for
below,
watching. Like,
if you're a
subscribe.
real fan, Aaron solved E3, so Lexi used that rocket. Or those rockets. Something.
Semicolon instead of a so. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, as
Okay,
long as it's
cool.
grammatically correct, or we can understand it, because we're not going to tell you how to spell shit.
Oh yeah.
I
Grammar
might.
is a social construct. Live your truth.
Yeah. So,
right.
like, comment, subscribe, download it with your printer. Tell your mom, tell your friends.
Send it in a chain email.
Yeah.
No, please. I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to fucking be a part of any chain emails. God.
Stream it on Twitch. We'll allow that.
Yep. Stream your react to our spicy takes.
And eventually we will, once, because the pandemic in Alberta is officially over, #HotBoyKennySummer, we will start actually doing some dialogue streams, because we'll be able to sit in a room together.
Yeah.
Also, anyone who wants to tag Greg Ellis, I still want to have a fight with him about Cullen. So just, you know, hit up Greg Ellis.
Everyone
please.
at Greg Ellis.
Please, just if you know Greg, just look him down and say, "Hey man, you're an asshole."
We're not going to give any context to that. Just tag Greg Ellis.
Just tag Greg Ellis, please.
You'll know
All right.
eventually.
Peace, folks.
Bye.
Bye.